Hi class, this is Mr. Tan, and today we're doing Understanding and Leading Change, and we're on what question? What question are we on?
P5.
P5. What does P5 say? Apply different leadership approaches to dealing with change in a range of organizational contexts. What's the key word here? Apply. What does apply mean? Use. Do, produce, okay? Apply it. Actually use it. Different leadership approaches. So we've been looking at different leadership approaches. What two leadership approaches are we going to be discussing? Path Goal Leadership and Paul Hersey and Ken Blanchard. Situational leadership style. Okay? So we're looking at those two. And we have to look at that, we have to explain those two, and then we have to make it in relation to what? Tesco, which is the case study. Because the question says to, apply different leadership approaches to dealing with change in a range of different organizational contexts. So you have to give at least two organizational contexts, and you have to use at least two approaches. Okay, so we're using Ken Blanchard's situational leadership style. So we first need to explain it, and we need to understand what is that leadership style. Well, Ken Blanchard's and Paul Hersey and Ken Blanchard's situational leadership style is basically based on two things. And it's saying, let's not come with our own leadership style. There is leadership styles out there, but we should base it on two factors. And the two factors we're basing it on is the level of commitment, motivation the employee has. One, does he have a low level, medium to high, and high level? What level of motivation does that person have? That's going to affect the leadership style. And also, the skills, competence. How skillful is that person in doing that job? If he has no skill, some skill, or so very little skill, more skill, or a high degree of skill. So these two factors together in terms of the amount of skill someone has and the level of commitment they have towards the job or their working would depend upon the leadership style that is adopted. So we can see that if there's low competence but high commitment, that's considered to be a D1. Then there's a D2, D3 and D4. We'll come on to what those mean. D2 is like some level of skills but low commitment. D3 is saying moderate to high competence but with variable commitment. And D4 is saying a high level of skill and a high level of commitment. So he categorizes it in D1, 2, 3 and 4. So what do these mean? So D1 is like saying, if they have a high level of commitment and high skills, then you're directing someone. Then you've got D3, which is equivalent to S2, which is coaching. S3 is supporting, and S4 is delegating. So let's have a look. So when we use these, we can see that if the person is an enthusiastic beginner, where they may not have much competence in dealing with it, but is enthusiastic because they're new and they want to learn, then you're going to be more directive. It might be you have to provide clear goals, recognition of enthusiasm and transferable skills, and you need to give timelines and you need to give priorities. You need to be clear in terms of directing someone what to do. If we are looking at the next one, disillusioned learner. Well, the disillusioned learner would need more coaching. So the disillusioned learner needs clear goals. Okay, this is development level 2, where he wants to learn, but disillusioned, low commitment. So you need more coaching, more clear goals, frequent feedback, perspective, and praise. So you're coaching someone, you're praising them, and you're coaching them to do something to increase their commitment levels. Okay? And then you've got the capable but curious performer. And here you support. He's capable and he's also curious and he wants to learn. So, and he has some skill. So here, you're not really coaching or directing, you're really supporting. You're allowing him more to get on with the work and you're supporting him with the needs that he needs. So here, an approachable mentor or coach, opportunities to test ideas, opportunities to express concerns and share feelings, support and encouragement to develop self-reliant and problem solving. So you're just kind of supporting someone. And then the final one is delegating. And here, the self-reliant achiever. So here the person has a high level of commitment and a high skills knowledge. And so here, he doesn't need supporting or coaching or directing. In this situation, he really needs the work to be delegated to. So you say, look, this is your time frame, this is what I want you to achieve, and go ahead and do it because you actually trust him to go and do the work. And because he has high enthusiasm and he has high expertise. So you can trust him on the expertise and you can trust him on the enthusiasm. So you only need to delegate the task to him. Okay, so now you explained that. Once you've explained that, the who comes from the two main purposes, the two main key factors, which is level of commitment and level of skill. Level of commitment and level of skill. And then you say, what leadership style, in terms of those four, depending upon the level of skill and commitment that you have, would you take? Okay, so you're not saying what you should do, you're using this model to base that on. So now, once we've explained that, you now need to do what? Apply it to a given situation or context, given the case study. So each college will be different in terms of the case studies. In our situation, we're using Tesco's. So now you have to find an example. So here, we find the example of, firstly, implementing the self-service tills in a Tesco's superstore. So now, we can see that people are not going to have the skills, are they? So if we look at, let's see which one of these it would apply to. So are the people, when these self-service tills first came in to a Tesco's superstore, did the people have the skills to know what to do, how to use it, and everything else? The staff? No. So we can see that they might have a high commitment, but they don't have high competence because they've never used it before. Let's say, for the first time, you're going to use staff because you don't want to mess up. So what type of staff are you going to pick to learn this?
High commitment.
High commitment. You're gonna pick staff with a high commitment, aren't you? Yeah. You're not going to pick someone who has no commitment. It's not going to work. So it's not going to be D1, is it? So out of D2 and D3, which one do you think it might be?
D4.
No.
D3 maybe, yeah?
In terms of the commitment, which
D3.
no, it's going to be D1.
I
I know, but you shouldn't take my word for it.
No.
You should read what you're saying.
Yeah, D1.
It's D1. Just because I said it doesn't necessarily mean it's right. You need to question me.
Yeah, because it's eye commitment.
Yeah.
You've got eyes and a brain.
Okay, D1.
So D1 because he's got high commitment, but he's got low competence because they've never used it before. Come on, suckers. That's a sucker punch. That was a sucker punch. Yes. Okay, look. Okay, so here we can see that they're going to use D1. So if we go back to the model now, so D1. Yes. Okay, so which one of these are we going to use?
S1.
Is it going to be directing?
Yes.
Supporting, coaching?
We choose the support.
So we say D1, yeah? D1 is equivalent to what?
High commitment, low commitment. That's going to be S3 and S2.
Supporting, yeah.
You're not going to use coaching, are you?
No.
You cannot teach them.
And are you going to use delegating?
No.
Because you can't delegate to them because they don't have the experience.
Go to zero.
Are you going to direct them or supporting?
Support. And
Yeah.
support.
I actually think it's a bit of both.
It's a bit of
I actually think you can't just use. You're going to direct them,
But
and
you
you,
have to support them.
and you have to support them. Yes, until they learn. And you need to support them also in terms of staff training. So even though this model is saying, oh, you adopt this, in a way, I kind of partly agree with it, but I don't agree that you just adopt one.
In that case,
I
would
actually
say-
believe you kind of like step into supporting as
in
well.
that case, I would say S5,
Yes,
directive,
Yes.
stroke supported.
yes, agreed. Okay, so don't always take the models and say this is the be and end and this is the correct answer. Use your own minds as well. Okay, that's what you're here for. Okay, is everyone happy with that?
Yeah.
So let's talk about path goal theory now. Okay, look this way. So path goal theory is saying, okay, the principle behind path goal theory is saying, first, we clarify the task. We break the task down. What is the task? And let's assume we're doing an overnight move in Tesco's, change, once every 6 months to move everything around to help increase their sales so that consumers look elsewhere. Okay? So, clarify what the tasks are in the event of moving an overnight move where it's moving everything around. It's moving everything in relation to head office. So you have a planogram. The planogram would tell you exactly what needs to be moved where and where they